The human lady was chosen for a mission. The cubs refused to let go. The alarm blared like a dying star, echoing across the steel corridors of Outpost K-17. Yet in the observation deck, silence reigned, heavy and impossible. Lieutenant Elena Ward stood at attention, the flickering red lights painting her armor in streaks of fire. The Council of High Command officers had just spoken her name. The mission, critical, near suicidal, beyond anything even seasoned soldiers would volunteer for. Her pulse thrummed, not from fear, but from anticipation. Humans, she knew, thrived where others hesitated. Then the cubs arrived, small, jagged shadows darting between crates and consoles, their bright eyes gleaming in the chaos. Predator cubs, the offspring of the apex Carex warriors, whose claws could rend titanium and whose bite was feared across 3 star systems. Normally the cubs hid in the nursery, away from conflict, away from humans. But today they refused distance. Elena took her first step toward the hatch. Her pack and crew followed, weapons ready, training precise. But instinctively, every predator cub leapt in front of her path. One perched on her boot, claws sinking into fabric. Another wrapped around her leg like a living rope. A third yipped, a tiny, desperate noise that carried more authority than any officer's command. "Move!" barked Commander Ryal, his voice trembling slightly, unsure whether to order or negotiate. The cub only growled, an impossibly low, rumbling vibration, and didn't move. Elena froze. She had faced orbital bombardments, alien ambushes, and plasma storms that shredded hulls like paper. None of that had stopped her. But this quiet defiance, this refusal to yield to protocol, was entirely human to witness. Humans didn't command respect through fear alone. They earned it, lived it, embodied it in ways creatures of instinct could recognize. She knelt slowly, bringing herself to their level. One cub flinched, claws retracting slightly. Another sniffed at her helmet. Elena's gloved hand hovered, then rested against the soft fur of the smallest one. "All right," she whispered. "I'll be back, I promise. But I need you to trust me, like I trust you." They didn't step aside. Instead, the cubs multiplied, clustering around her like a living barricade, their bodies pressed against her armor, their tiny claws digging in, not to harm, but to anchor. She felt their warmth, their heartbeats synchronizing with her own. And then it clicked. This wasn't just loyalty. This wasn't instinct. This was recognition. Humans were dangerous, yes, but also unshakably dependable. They could lead, protect, and endure where even apex predators hesitated. The hatch opened. Her mission waited. Beyond it, the void of space and the wrath of an enemy fleet she was about to confront alone. Elena straightened. She could feel the cubs' combined weight as a tether, a pull of responsibility stronger than any gravity well. She looked into their eyes, bright, fierce, unyielding. "You're coming," she said softly. The cub's ears flattened. One squeaked, another swiveled its tail, and then, impossibly, they climbed onto her shoulders, into her pack, around her neck, turning her into a living fortress of determination and ferocity. The crew watched, mouths agape, as the human didn't recoil, didn't scold, didn't hesitate. She adjusted her grip, her stance, and stepped through the hatch, literally carrying her own army of predator cubs into the unknown. The vacuum of space outside wasn't waiting for her. The enemy fleet wasn't waiting. Only her resolve, sharpened by human stubbornness and audacity, guided them forward. The cubs growled in unison, not a warning, not a threat, but a statement. We belong here. We follow her. In the observation deck, alarms continued to blare. The commander sighed. The rest of the pack watched, unmoving, understanding that the human had done what no alien could, captured not only their attention, but their loyalty. "They don't just protect her," murmured Lieutenant Rahl. "They respect her, like she's one of them, but stronger." Humans were special. They had no natural advantage beyond their ingenuity, their stubbornness, their unmatched capacity to endure. And yet, in moments like this, That was enough to bend even apex predators to their will, not through fear, but through the quiet authority of unwavering courage. Through the viewport, Elena disappeared into the stars, her armor scratched, her gloves singed, her rifle slung across her back, and a dozen tiny forms clinging to her, growling at every shadow, watching every motion. The mission ahead would be impossible. And yet, the Cubs knew something the enemy didn't. A human, once chosen, could carry an army on her shoulders, literally or figuratively, and emerge victorious. Hours later, when communications finally reconnected, the Cubs returned to the observation deck, racing across corridors in triumphant relief. Elena stepped through the hatch, exhausted but unbowed, the Cubs still clinging to her like sentinels. The Alpha approached. Its massive eyes narrowed, and then, unexpectedly, it bowed its head. A gesture of recognition, of respect, of ownership, not of land, not of power, but of a human who had proven that she could hold the unholdable, protect the unprotectable, and lead the leaderless. Humans were fragile, humans were mortal, humans were often unpredictable. And yet, no species in the galaxy could command loyalty, fear, and admiration in equal measure. Elena smiled down at the Cubs. "You all remembered your promise," she whispered. The Alpha's growl rolled low and approving. The galaxy learned something that day. Humans didn't just survive impossible missions. They carried their allies, their wards, their fiercest enemies, and even their own limits into triumph. And sometimes, the smallest voices, the ones with claws too small to harm, could refuse to let go, proving that the human they trusted was unlike any other in the cosmos. In the quiet aftermath, with Cubs nestled against her armor, Elena realized the truth. Humans aren't just strong. They are irreplaceable. They are unbreakable. They are home. And the galaxy had just been reminded.